What's up, guys? Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Gear with Coaches Skip Hill, Andrew Berry. I'm Scott McNally, and all of our programming is brought to you by you. Yeah, you, the people of Patreon. Thank you guys very much for your support. We're brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. Use our code THINK over there. SupplementSource.ca for Canadians. All right, so listen, Andrew stitched together for us an immaculate piece of art, actually. This is, you literally put together pictures of everybody who is qualified for the Olympia, and you listed how they got qualified.
I listed the last time we saw them on stage.
Oh, that's what it is.
So the picture is from the last appearance we saw of them on stage. The
How
only
long
person.
did this take? I mean, come on.
Well, I actually first asked ChatGPT to do it for me.
Oh,
it didn't work?
Smart.
And it responded, but it responded saying it couldn't. So then I actually had to do it myself. The only person that's not in these groupings is Beirut, because he will not be, my understanding is he's not able to come and get a visa in the United States, being from Iran. So he's the only one. And where we talk about where he would shake things up in this mix. But I organized it into tiers, and I'm not...
Love it.
Yeah, I organized it in a sense of like, based off of, okay, where did you place in the most recent Olympia? What has been, and obviously Nick didn't do the Olympia the last 2 years, but what has been your trajectory in the most recent shows? And what has been your MO in the Olympias you have been a part of? So this is my top six, or at least the grouping that I'm considering, the guys we should talk about in the top six. Samson, Hadi, Derek, all Olympia champions themselves. Nick, he won the New York Pro this year. Martin, he got fourth in a breakout year last year at the Mr. Olympia. And then I guess I'm going to say like the mystery dark horse, Andrew Jacked, who if he could just dial it all in and get really conditioned,
Yeah,
he might be able to blow all these guys away, structurally. And it's crazy because he goes to our gym now, and it's kind of cool in the times I do get to go to see him training a little bit. But I don't know. It's one of these things where we don't really know what these guys are looking like right now, because none of them are posting any pictures. 2, 3, or 3.5 weeks out. So I will say that Samson had that really nice guest posing at 6 weeks out. People can just look that up on Google. He was in great condition for 6 weeks out.
yeah.
Hadi we know he's going to be in condition. He's
He's gonna make it. We know he's gonna be able to make it over, huh?
My understanding is that he signs an employment contract with Evogen every year. Okay. So he gets in on a work visa, and because he's been doing that several years in a row, he gets preferential clearance, I guess.
Trusted traveler. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But who do you guys like out of this mix?
I'll say this, man. I would love to see Andrew Jacked step up. You mentioned that, if he were to bring it in, I feel like he still needs a little bit more size, honestly, when I've seen him. I'm going by seeing him in the past. I felt like he needed more. Maybe he's brought it up. You mentioned Samson and that recent guest posing or recent appearance. I think that his conditioning there says that he is on track to be his best. If Samson comes in absolutely freaking head to toes diced with the fullness, the roundness, all of that, like I don't think that anybody's going to be able to beat that. He's just absolutely the prettiest. But you know what, man? It's like the day. All of these guys, really. Let me say this. All of these guys in their placings, it's going to come down to how they nail their peak. It's not like any of them are that much better than the others. I mean, maybe just what I know of, I would say if I were to take this a tier further, I would call it Samson, Hadi, Derek, and Nick.
Yep, I agree.
That's if I were to like try to boil it down further. Boiling it down further from there, I don't know, man. Tell me, what do you guys hear about Derek lately? Because I haven't heard a lot. Like people are talking about Nick. People are talking about this guy. People are talking about that guy. We saw Samson. I feel like Derek's quiet, but maybe it's just what the social media that I've been seeing.
I mean, he did just open his gym 3 weeks ago, so to the public. So who knows? There might be the added stress of that. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to look. I haven't seen him lately. I used to see him at MI40 all the time. I'm not really sure. I will say this, that if gun to my head, like who do I think is going to bring their best look without a doubt, Nick Walker.
Yep.
And just seeing his motivation, talking to him, I'm good friends with Kyle, his coach, and I did get to see some exclusive pics.
All right.
Recently, Nick is far and above. He was ahead of schedule when I saw these pics, and he was a lot bigger than he had been earlier this year in a good way. So, I think this could be if he nails his peak, if him and Kyle nail it, I think this could be his year where he becomes Mr. Olympia, and he believes he can.
Nick has never had Nick's had momentum going into other shows before. This isn't the first time that people have gotten behind him, but I would say I have never seen people get behind Nick Walker like I have this year, and I think that he believes in himself more than he ever has too.
I agree.
I'm with you guys as far as but I'm going to switch one. I don't know if it's because I've been in this sport a long time, so I fancy myself as someone who can put aside biases and, either friendships or the fact that it's my client, or something along those lines. I'm pretty good at that. And Andrew and I have talked about that in the past. I have Samson, Hadi, and Nick in the top. I want to believe, and I think Nick should be able to beat Derek. Now, this is where I don't know if it's necessarily a bias, but it's something that I look at. I don't like Derek. Derek's got a great physique, so before the Derek minions crawl down my throat and up my pants and everything else, he's got a great physique. I don't like that. I don't like the conditioning. I don't like what people are finally starting to talk about, the volume, but a lack of separation. If we just look at Nick's arms, no one is going to win the Olympia on arms. I'm just making a point. If you look at Nick's arms and you look at Derek's arms, there's right there too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on in the lats and stuff that I think that could take take away from the conditioning too. But let me compare Derek's condition to like Victor Martinez. Mm-hmm. That's what I see when I see that physique. To me, this is just me. He's riding on structure and shape more than he is conditioning. Because if you break that conditioning down, it's not that it's bad, but it's not dry and fucking hard. Hottie, hard, dry.
He
looks great.
It's maybe a different type of condition, but take this for what it's worth, Skip. Take this for what it's worth. Seeing Derek at the Arnold and like having pretty good seats, I can say this. I don't think that I have ever seen a better bodybuilder in person in my life. The peak that he nailed there, it was the most awe-striking. And I'm not saying that as like, oh man, I'm rooting for him, but just like trying to be objective, I was like, holy crap. The condition he brought there. Yeah, there was a wow factor, and the condition was part of it, man. I hadn't seen anything like it. Was one of the best looks, if not like it's right up there. I can't think of anybody else there's other guys that have had different wow factors. I'll leave it at this. One of the absolute best physiques I had ever seen in my life, that specific peak in person.
Well, there's no doubt, and Derek has a beautiful physique, right? And I think what Skip is referring to though is he's conditioned in certain, like his glutes and hamstrings are completely dialed in, but from the front, we're just not seeing the same kind of action in the upper chest, the deltoids, even the lats. Whereas you look at a competitor like Hadi and Nick, who are probably going to be the most conditioned guys in the show. Those guys have detail that just crawls out of every crevice. Lines everywhere. No stone unturned in terms of conditioning. So it's just different physiques, right? And then Samson's kind of in the middle of those different groups. He's got a beautiful physique. He gets pretty good condition, but again, I don't know if it's lighting, because I've never walked away from a show being like, wow, Samson was peeled,
Yeah, even when he won the Olympia, I didn't think that it was like that crazy, 100%. But you know what, man? I can think of other guys that were pretty, like Brandon Curry, when he said that was his favorite look the year he won the Olympia. I liked him at the Arnold better when he was more peeled than that, but
And that's why, it's a subjective sport, right? It's
Yeah.
And
I say that, by the way, about Derek, like not saying like, oh man, I'm rooting for him. You guys, like I'm just saying like, that's my, like, as objective as I can be. Like, holy crap. I wish you guys could have seen that right there. But you're right, because when I think of what I was looking at, it's like the side shots where you can see how etched out the glute and the hamstring was and all that. You know what I mean? It was, but not in the, I know that you're right. The chest has been the flaw, hasn't it?
I don't think I've seen Derek on stage. But having seen like Nick on stage at both the Arnold Classic several years ago and then at the New York this year, that's kind of how I felt, the way you were describing, Scott, of like, this is one of the greatest physiques that's ever walked on stage in terms of nailing a peak, conditioning, maximizing muscle tissue per, square inch on the body. And that's not to say that every single athlete up here does have some flaws. Scott, I did just send you a picture just a minute ago of Hadi that I do want to show here, because he is the one guy that showed a picture of most of his physique in a time frame that I think we should probably show. I did reach out to Nick. I had reached out to Derek a couple weeks ago. He was supposed to be on my podcast, and he canceled on us. Or no, he just no-showed us. So I wasn't even going to reach out for pictures from him. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but...
Hold on.
Can I make a comparison while you're doing that?
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Oh, sorry. I was pulling the other one
No,
up.
that's okay. I know we were changing. I thought it would take longer.
I'll go back to it in a second. Here's that picture.
Sure.
So that was him at 7.5 weeks out. I think the man's going to be in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that thickness.
Yeah. And I just watched a video of him, I think it was 3 days ago. He was shrugging, I think it was 7 or 8 plates aside.
Of course he was.
I mean, and we've all seen the squat videos with him squatting 5 plates for 10 reps, back squats, no Smith machine, regular back squats, and doing lunges with 315. So if there's ever a poster child for you better not lose strength during prep, Hadi's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you if you guys see this or not. It just might be the way my brain works. It's a little off, but it's almost like you take Samson and maybe he's the 2024, 2025 flex wheeler. Then you go over to Hadi and you see a 24, 25 Sean Ray. And when I say this, with more muscle, that's why I'm saying 2024, 2025. And then when I look at Derek, I think of an arguably better, or in this generation, Jay Cutler.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I just didn't
yeah.
know if I was looking at it kind of skewed. It's like if you took those guys and you added more size, we have similar looks. And the Jay Cutler Derek comparison is again because of conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jay was always in condition, but it wasn't that dry,
Branch Warren condition.
Peeled. Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
here's the thing, though.
You're right.
Jay did reach that conditioning in his first Olympia.
Fair enough.
I mean, that was literally my favorite. My favorite look at Jay Cutler was that. And yes, he didn't have the same size that he had when he eventually started winning them, but the peak that him and Chris Aceto had, that one blew my mind. Detail everywhere. But
before we move on to the,
go ahead. I was just going to say my only criticism, I guess, of Nick, and God, do I hate to give any type of constructive criticism when someone's physique is so much far and above what I've ever accomplished. But so take it, for what it's worth. But I find that the 3 on top aesthetically are more pleasing to my eye if I were a judge than Nick. And that says a lot, I think, because I genuinely like Nick. I like everything about the guy. I love the drive. I love the support system he's got in place. He's a good dude. But that's the only thing that makes me go, ugh,
sure.
Maybe even his best may not be able to pull it off. But I'll be the first one to be jumping out of my chair if he can pull this off and be like, yeah, F yes, this is freaking awesome.
I would agree with you, Skip, if we didn't see him at the Pittsburgh next to Derek and Martin pushing. And I don't think there were any complaints of like, he looks a little wonky or his structure's not as good as it was really do you think Derek won or do you think Nick won?
Yeah. And that's a very good point, but let's go now. This is me playing the other side. Let's go to into the judge's head for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Did Derek win because they thought that?
Quite possibly.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it's a guess, but that's when so it's like, and when you get to this level, it's got to be really hard to judge because it's not apples and oranges, but it's very.
Well, it's like Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
It's like, what is your it's like, how do you do this? It's not like, well, he looks so much better from the front. No,
yeah, they're all so close.
Look so much better,
and that's why I'm saying, Skip. Close. I think it's going to come down to a lot of it is going to be their peak. I agree. Like who nails it? Who nails it and who doesn't. We always expect, like, anytime we do these predictions, we're like assuming everybody comes in exactly how they want to come in, right?
They're best in our head.
Yeah.
So of those, let's say those four, who is more likely? Just your opinion. Who is more likely to not come in peaked? Not more likely, but who's less likely to come in peaked? Like
I would say
who is
Samson
kind of gambling because it's not 100% usually.
I would say Samson and Derek.
That's what I'm saying.
Statistically,
I think the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Hadi has. You could argue say he was 0.5% off at the last Olympia, maybe a little bit off.
Could.
Not really, but maybe it was just because Samson looked better than he did the year before. But Nick and Hadi seem to nail their peaks. I think their coaches are very good at manipulating water. They're very good at knowing exactly how much to fill them up before it starts to crowd separation. Yeah, I think they're the odds-on favorite to nail their peaks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Derek will have a better probability this year working with Aceto. I think that they've gotten to learn his body a lot more now, and so I could see him statistically doing better with Chris. Now with Samson, and here's the thing: I feel like anytime you critique the champ, and maybe it's just Samson, but people get really defensive. His wife isn't somebody who has piqued a ton of people over the decades, so statistically, I don't think it's been done as many times, with him. So I think that in itself could be a potential place. That said, it's not like she's dealing with anybody else. She's seeing him literally every freaking day.
That's what I was going to say.
So it could be.
How many times has she piqued him?
It could be an advantage.
I mean, how many times?
Yeah, did you mean was she making the calls like, "Hey, babe, actually, you should do this," regardless of what coach was saying, and it might have worked. Hey. I mean,
there's that.
I mean, I'll give you a quick one. I mean, years ago, I don't remember. I think it was either Universe or I don't know, but John Meadows, he was like, "Well, ask Rachel what she thinks. Post for her and let me know what she says. Because he's like, she looks at you every day. She's the one taking your pictures. Are you dry or are you not dry? If the lighting's not great, rely on someone that sees you regularly. But before we go off the next slide, we haven't talked about Martin much. And
not yet.
I think that's because Martin reached a new pinnacle last year, and then I think we maybe all collectively thought there was a little bit of a letdown this year. He didn't necessarily move forward, or he didn't necessarily achieve that same Olympia peak. And because that got me thinking about it when we're talking about who's likely to nail or not nail their peak. And we've seen some up and down with Martin over the last 18 months. So do you guys think Martin stays in the top 4 or 5?
I think that no matter what, it's going to be really tough. And for me to answer that question, I want to see the next grouping too, because some of those guys could be part of what could push
before
him
you
out,
pull that up. I'll go on the record and say I don't see him in the top 4. I could see him potentially pulling the 5th spot, but I do not. Just my opinion, I don't see him. And hey, I've been wrong before. The viewers have pointed out that I was wrong before.
Hey, the right peak on him and the wrong peak on somebody else could change everything.
No question.
Well, the upside for him is just huge, right? I mean, the potential is all there. So, yeah, I agree.
Before we did move on to the next grouping, though, I want to throw this out there. Just one of our listeners, Dane, said he's going to call Samson, Nick, Hadi, and if he makes it, Hadi if he makes it, and then Derek, and then Martin. And I wanted to also ask, what do you guys think at home? You guys comment, let us know. And I'm going to add, too, that right now, I feel like, you guys tell me if you've noticed this, bodybuilding fans, I think, are more passionate than they've ever been. Like, ever. You hear people arguing more now. Like, I don't remember people arguing like I hate you, basically. if
I think that's just social media in general. I don't know
maybe
if it's
that's
bodybuilding.
Maybe
but
that's
I
it.
can't disagree with you, but I think it runs the gamut.
Well, you're right though, Scott, because there's so many bodybuilding podcasts, there's so many bodybuilding specific pages that fans from all over the place can go and argue about their favorite guy. Or, you know, it's funny because I read one where someone was trying to say like Nick's legs were shit, and I'm like, okay, wait, shit? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like shit is like the guy who plays fourth place at the local show. You know, he doesn't have legs, but to say something like Nick's legs are shit, it's like, come on. All right, this is the next tier, and these are guys that, I mean, one I'm really excited about to see how he does against these other guys is Urs. You know, he just won 2 shows back to back. He put on something like 30 pounds from his classic cutoff to what you see on stage in this picture. And I want to say the first show he did, I felt like while he was deserving to win, they overcarbed the shit out of him, and he just didn't have the separation. And then I think they learned for the second show last week, where he brought a much better balance in terms of separation and dryness and fullness. So I mean, I actually have a bet with one of my buddies on where he's going to place. I won't say it out loud on this podcast, but let's just say I have him a lot higher than I think a lot of people do. What do you guys think?
I speaking for myself, once he gets out of the top 5, it's a roll of the dice.
All right.
I mean, because
It's tough,
just,
man.
Well, it is, because there's also not that predictability as we move to like through tiers. We're also moving into, I don't want to say lack of consistency, but not the consistency of knowing how they're going to show up. So it makes it easier for me to say, you know, or us to say, well, we know how Hadi's going to show up. It's going to be pretty damn close to what we're thinking about in our head.
Sure.
Arguably with Nick too. Okay, maybe it'll depend if Derek is, you know, dry enough or tight enough. Same with Samson. But when you get down into the next tier, then to me it's kind of a roll of the dice. I mean, it's gonna, again, coming down to the peak. I think that top 4, top 5. I think the top 4 is unless there's just a shocking, oh my God type of thing. I don't see the top 4 changing, but that's just...
Studies show creatine doesn't just fuel your muscles, it fuels your brain. Research links creatine to improved memory, focus, and mental clarity, especially while under stress. It helps reduce mental fatigue, supports learning, and may even protect long-term brain health. I order my creatine from True Nutrition. Use code THINK at checkout to get 10% off and support this podcast. Power your body and your mind with True Nutrition creatine. By the way, this is my actual morning routine, mixing 15 grams of creatine into my oats. No flavor, no texture. And hey, since I got married, we store it in this fancy jar so it doesn't look like my wife lives with a bro. But hey, if you're single, just leave it in the bag on the counter. It's totally fine.
Okay, well, let's take it this direction, because we've got some of the old guard in this grouping between Cedric, I almost said Cedric, between Brandon Curry, Akeem Williams, and Edward. You know, so what do we think they're going to continue sliding?
I say yes.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I want that, but I would say yes, unless we see a Gunter Schlierkamp, you know, someone show up all of a sudden that is just like, oh crap. You know, he goes from 10th to 2nd, or I don't know what the placing was. I've got too many shows in my brain for too many years. But the point being, unless there's just something extraordinary there, I don't see anybody in this tier being catapulted up and being kind of a shocking, like, wow, he killed it. But
well, I will counter that, because I think the one guy that could really crack in to maybe break some hearts in the top 5 would be Good Vito.
I was waiting to...
Oh, sorry.
That's all right, man. That's
go
where
ahead,
I was going to... No.
Sorry.
Take it, dude. You keep going. I was going to... Because I was just going to turn it to you and ask, what did you think of Good Vito? Because kind of leading you in that direction.
Yeah, so we didn't get to see him on stage for the Pittsburgh show. And he was training at MI40, so it was kind of cool to see him do some posing and whatnot. He's got an exceptional physique, and... the guy knows how to get peaked. I don't know who his coach is, but I think, it's Aceto. Sorry.
He's working with Aceto?
Yeah. And Yeah, he won the what did I say? The Arnold Brazil, right?
Yeah.
And I had to look those pictures up because there's so many pro shows now that
Right.
aren't necessarily in the U.S. that you forget that there's so many great physiques and so many great guys that win some of these shows. He's got a physique that if it's not this year that he's cracking into the top 6, I think it's very, very soon he will be. His leg separation, size, muscular development.
His legs are crazy, man.
Yeah, he's got ridiculous legs. If there's anything, I'd like to see a little bit more thickness in the lats. And again, like Skip said, picking apart guys that are eons better than you.
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah. And I do want to point out, actually, after I put this together, I did find out Raphael is out of the Olympia.
Okay.
He won't be competing. And I guess like an idiot, I put Sasan up there twice. I didn't realize
noticed
that.
I wasn't going to call you out. You're just giving him better odds,
But I wanted to point out about Sas is I don't know what kind of physique we're going to get out of him because he competed in, I think, 5 shows earlier this year. I mean, between Detroit, Dubai, New York. He did, I can't remember if he did Pittsburgh or not. He did Toronto. I mean, he kept 5 or 6.
And he kept coming up against like almost getting it, trying to get the qualification until he did. I thought he looked phenomenal at Detroit, like between him and Bonac. I thought they both looked incredible and deserving to be in this realm. But are you thinking that maybe he's not going to be able to hold what he had earlier on?
Well, I mean, I've never competed in 7 shows in a season, so I don't know what it's like. But again, I'm not a professional on the level that these guys are, right? Yeah. So maybe he has just structured his health phases, his lifestyle with stress and everything, that as soon as he got done competing earlier in the year, he really de-stressed, got his adrenals figured out, and maybe made a little bit more progress. I mean, who knows? This could be his best show ever. I don't know. I think one thing he did show is that a guy like him can take 2 years off from the stage and come back and hang with most of the best of them and win shows and be in the top 3 in 4 or 5 shows.
So yeah, and here's the thing that I've kind of noticed about Sasan, because I knew him from back before. He had always been, and I really see it now. I don't think that he's got to push super hard with the supplements to be able to get where he's at. I don't think that he's been redlining it. And I think that is, obviously going to work on his side to be able to continue doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name? The name is, I'm beating myself up over here. The 2025 Europa. What's his name?
Urs Kalecinski.
Okay. Of all the physiques up there, because I just could not get it. Of all the physiques up there, as far as just pleasing, like if God came down and said, you have to choose someone, Skip, to change physiques with, I'd want that physique more than any of the other physiques up there. To me, and I understand. I see. His arms could be bigger. Things like that. But that shape, to me, I just look at something like that and I go. So if I was going to play favorites, I'd say, man, I really want.
It translates well.
Do well, but
with more size.
But I know
he's had the governor on.
Yeah.
For the last 6-7 years.
Good look. So that one's kind of, I want to say it's up for grabs, but who knows how that's going to play out. I mean, I want to see Dorian in the mix only because he has turned a corner just to see where are you going to stack up against these other guys with having turned that corner, and now your condition is in a place that it hasn't been before. So there's going to be some fun in there for this.
I think Urs has room, to what you're saying, Andrew, with both of you guys. He's got room. I'm excited. I think we're all excited to see, what he does in the next couple of years.
The knock on Urs is his back. It's not wide enough yet from the back, and it doesn't have the detail and the tissue coming out at you, from the backside. So, and some of that could have been peaking. Maybe he just wasn't dry enough in the back area in some of these shows. But I think for him to catapult as a regular, say, top 6 or first call out at the Olympia guy, he's probably got another 15 to 20 pounds of muscle he's got to put on to really, be in that mix. But with that said, I got a question for you guys. Out of this group, who do you think places highest?
I think that Bonac has traditionally shown a real. I could see Bonac doing. I wouldn't be, put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised if Bonac did. I know that's not a solid answer,
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Bonac, he's got the experience. I know that he's older at this point, but I think he's just going to nail it. Although I could see Urs pushing him out from it. And Brandon, man, I don't think we're going to see anything less from Brandon than we have in the past.
See, I do. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Father Time is undefeated, and I think we've seen his waist slip a little bit more. You know,
Sure.
that pretty physique that won him the Olympia.
Sure.
It's not the exact same physique. While he might be able to get a little bit drier and a little bit more conditioned than he has in the past, I think he's losing a little bit of that bubbliness. And that being said, I mean, all respect and hats off to him for still doing this after so many years. And he's got nothing left to prove in the whole game of bodybuilding. And he obviously loves the sport that much to continue doing this. So I'm happy to see him up there. But I would agree. I still think Bonac might be the guy because somehow I
can see Bonac and Urs both. Would you put Urs up there with me?
I say Bonac, Urs, and Good Vito. I think those are the three to watch out of this group. And I don't know exactly. I can't say where they're going to go, but I think that's the next tier.
I think you're right, and I'd maybe put Brandon somewhere right after that.
He's not competing. He's out.
What's that?
Brandon Curtis.
Brandon.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'd put Brandon right after that then, if that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah, I just think he still has enough. He still has enough.
Let me ask you guys a question. When competitors start to slip, and let's say it's not just slip 1 year, it's a few years. How many of those competitors come in, and obviously we don't have the answer, an accurate answer, but off the top of your head, how many of those competitors actually show up and have a wow, not just the wow factor, but they also place higher? And the place higher is important because I'm going to say, coming off the top of my head, it is, 1 out of 300. I mean, it doesn't typically, once the slide starts and it shows any resemblance of consistency, there's really not, the only one that I can think of really, and I mentioned it earlier, was Gunther. That's the only one that I think that I can remember that I went, wait, what? Like when I heard it, I went, what? And immediately went to try to find what the information I could to see how did this happen? Mm-hmm. I can't think of anybody else. Yes, they may lose the title, come back and get the title, but after a few years, when that slide starts to happen, it doesn't reverse itself. And if it does, it's incredibly rare. I even asked the viewers, throw it at me, bust me on this one. Who has done that? Who has reversed it and went oh shit, and had people go, oh crap.
This is similar, but not exactly what you're talking about. But I consider what Sean Roden did winning the Olympia kind of like that, because he was kind of always typecasted into the second, third place guy. And then we saw all the pictures of him at the Pittsburgh Pro before it was a bodybuilding show, when it was just an exhibition posing. Yeah. And we were all like, oh, this guy's going to fall to 7th, 8th, 10th at the Olympia. He's so out of shape. He's lost so much muscle. He looks like a muscular guy with tits, I mean, I remember looking at him being like, wow. And then
everybody
him on
just
stage,
saw him as being not lackadaisical. Remember that?
Yeah. And then you just realize, no, he's just a calm, collected, internally kind of brooding kind of guy. And he'd been holding on to that taste in the back of his mouth of Phil Heath for a number of years, and he put it all together, man. Even he couldn't even eat. Remember, he couldn't eat food. He was drinking out of a straw because his mouth was wired shut. And so I don't know. Maybe we see. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Brandon proves me and Skip wrong.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it can't happen. All I'm saying is,
when does it?
Not very likely, based on
Oh wait, I remember when Arnold came back and won the
exactly
when they gifted it to him.
All right, yeah, I could see. I'm with you guys on all that. And listeners at home, what did you guys think of that round? Where did you guys put those people? Mm-hmm. And we've got our next grouping here. We just had Brett on the podcast this week. I'm expecting him to do a lot personally. I feel like we haven't seen him for a year. Nobody's talking about him because of that. I think that he's definitely growing a lot since then. You know, he had the gut issues. He pulled out of 23 and came back. It was like a year ago then that he competed at Legion. And we haven't seen him since. So I think 24, he was like just getting his feet wet again. You know what I'm saying, at Legion. And now he's taken all of this time, and him and Martin have been training. He's, you know, place in my heart for him. I want to see him like jump forward at the top to the top of this, you know.
Let me also say this grouping, I consider these guys that it's kind of a mix. Guys that I didn't think were going to be in the mix with guys that are wild cards. And I consider Brett, Tonio, and Jordan Hutchinson wild cards, to where I need to see him next to the other guys on stage before I, you know, obviously. But it's like I couldn't, in my mind's eye, be like, man, is he a top 10 guy? Is he a top 5 guy? Is he a top 50? You know, I will say this, you know, I think I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The Chinese man, he won the China Pro.
He looks incredible.
Unbelievable browned physique. But conditioning, if he brings the same conditioning he brought to that show, he will finish last or dead last or second to last.
His shape is crazy, man.
Oh, he was overfull, you know?
Yeah.
Incredible, like his posing routine, everything was bursting, but he turned around from the back and there wasn't a glute line, you know, which that wouldn't fly over here. Rubio, Neckzilla, I just don't like his physique. I think it's wonky. I think, and maybe it's just because his head is kind of small compared to his physique. I don't know, but it's like, it just doesn't flow the way I want to see it, I guess. And then Dorian,
I could see him out muscling people though. Like I could see him,
100%.
Really pushing forward. Because I think too, when he gets in, I think that's a very exposing pose. We have him in that front double bicep, but get him in like a side chest and he starts stomping people. You know what I'm saying? When he can.
To be fair, I did go on NPC News, and if they didn't have a front double from their last show, I just picked the next shot that they had. So most of these guys are in front doubles. For Dorian, I picked his best pose because I think his most muscular is pretty nasty when you see it on stage.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
I think for Dorian, just the genetic caliber that he's going up against, he's going to be in that later call out, even if he reaches his best condition of all time, which that's not a knock on him. He's done his career. He's put on a hell of a ton of muscle. He's reached his best conditioning recently, and he's continued bodybuilding all the way through. It's just when you're running up to a wall. Yeah, you're running up against a wall of genetic talent at the Olympia. It's you know, you've done what you've done. You've done what you can do, you know.
Can I add to that just real quick? In 2010, I competed against him at the Rocky Mountain.
Yeah. And
he was natural and I was on a lot of drugs. and I couldn't beat him. So there's that. and that's me really just kind of putting myself out there, just going, yeah, he's pretty good, and I do suck. So, you know, I'm feeding the trolls probably. But that, a lot of people don't know. I mean, he started off his career. It doesn't matter when it comes to where you're going to place at the Olympia. I'm just making the point that he's one of those guys, much like a Phil Heath, who started out with either being natural or very, very low gear use. And I don't know Dorian well enough these days because I'm no longer in Colorado to know, you know, what he has done since I've left. I've been gone for quite a while, 7 or 8 years now. So I just want to see him standing next to people. And I think you guys would agree. If he were to make the top 10, I think he would just be
that'd be cool.
Beside himself.
Oh.
Like, oh shit. You know, like, wow. So, and I think a lot of us would who've known him and, you know, seen him come up and obviously as fans, but
I like a lot of these guys. I kind of have that personal connection to him. Yeah. So I would love to see that. There's a lot of these guys that I would love to see. I mean, I personally, I could see Quadzilla jumping forward. I could see him getting 6th, 7th even. I could
get out of here.
I could see it happen.
I'll make a bet on that one. I'll make a bet on that right now.
I could
How much you want to do?
Brett jumping forward. I could see him.
I could see Brett
6, 7. You know,
I could see Brett nailing a peak. Yep.
I could see Jordan jumping forward. I could see him hitting 6, 7. Like I think it's going to be like, I don't know. I really don't know until we see it. But like, these guys to me are very exciting because I can't predict it. I can't call it, man. I just can't.
To me, the best dark horse, or the best dark horse I would say is Jordan Hutchinson here. And I'm biased. I saw him twice in person, beating a very good Quentin in back-to-back weeks, as well as a couple of Joe. I can't remember his name, the one that skipped shit all over. I'm just kidding. But no, Jordan is huge on stage. I mean, he looks like he's 285 on stage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he might be 265, 270. I can ask Chris, but
How tall is he?
he's probably 5'10" to 5'11" ish.
So a little on the taller side then. Okay.
Yeah, but
Imposing then, you know.
But like if you look, he doesn't have like the lankier arms. He's got like some nice developed arms, and every muscle's in good proportion. And honestly, I think he still has more upside. I think he could probably fit like another 10 more pounds on that physique.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, and he's just a nice guy too, which is always nice when you know, guys that are doing well are nice people too. So
yeah,
big shout out to Jordan.
He's a pretty cool dude. Both him and Brett both. I want to see them both. I'll tell you what. I'll take you on a bet. I want to see. I think that Brett is my dark horse. So if you've got Jordan as yours, we'll see. Let's see who, you know, and who knows about placings, right? But who
places higher?
Yeah, right. Who places higher? Who's more of the surprise? How about that?
Yeah.
That'd be a fun
I would
one
be
to find
very
out.
happy for either one of these gentlemen,
Right?
if they did, because I know Brett's a great person too, and yeah, I mean, just nice following his career over the years. It'd be nice to see him back on stage this year. So
Yeah. I think this is freaking amazing. Let me turn it to the audience again, guys. What do you think? Tell us where did we go wrong? Tell us what we should have done instead. And also tell us, did we miss anything? You know, anything that we should have talked about, right? What about like Stefan is coaching what % of the guys in the Olympia this year?
who's he have? He's got Martin.
He's got Brett. He's got Bonac. He's got Urs. You know, it's like that's a pretty high percentile, right?
Yeah, you know, that's nothing though compared to cuts with the men's physique. He's got 18 of them.
Holy crap! You're kidding me, man.
He's got like a third or more than a third of the men's physique division. He's peaking and coaching for the show.
That's wild. I don't know if I could do 18 people in the same show. I mean, maybe you probably don't start there. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done 4 or 5 people in the same show and I can do that. So maybe I'd have to do 6 before I could get to 18. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be a record. I mean, I peaked 17 for our local show one time, but it was like,
did you?
It was not the Olympia, you know, and they all weren't in the exact same class where, you know, attitudes and especially in a men's physique division, these tempers are going to flare. Oh, you gave this guy 5 more minutes attention than you gave me. And I saw you give him something extra. What was that? You know, you didn't have me take it or whatever it might've been. Aceto's got a few guys too. He's got Derek, he's got Vito, he's got Andrew Jacked.
Yep.
Do we know who's coaching Hadi?
I don't.
Is Hany still maybe secretly coaching him? I'm wondering.
I wonder.
I thought that because I think they just had such a good relationship, and I think I'm just going off the cuff here, just from stuff I've heard and just what I've observed.
Aceto's got Sasan as well.
Oh, he's got Sasan, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Hany wanted the pressure or the stress of it, and he had other business endeavors he wanted to get into, but I think he does have a special relationship with Hadi. That I would say he probably kept him. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. If someone knows in the comments, please tell me I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no kidding. Let us know. I love Hadi. He's one of my favorites personally. If I know it would probably sound better if I were a lot more dramatic about it, but I'd be happy to see any of these guys like up in that top 6 that we looked at. Any of those guys I think would be incredible, dude. If Andrew Jacked came in and he just blew everybody away. Like, do you realize like how exciting that would be? You know, I'd take it.
Yeah. Basically what you're saying is we just want to see a really good show.
Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. And I want to see everybody nail it, man. We spend so much time talking about this stuff, right? And then, you know, the day of the show, it's like, what percentage of the guys actually bring it? You know, it's not always up there, right?
Yeah.
I look forward to the political discord after Hadi, if Hadi doesn't win. No, there's a lot focused around Hadi that gets really nasty.
I think that's from his people.
Yeah,
not him, not his people, but I'm saying his country.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, I'm not saying he encourages any of that whatsoever.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to win, especially if you're one of those top 5 guys. And you're looking the best you ever have, and everyone in your camp is telling you, "Oh my God, you blew his legs away. Your back is amazing." You know, it's got to be hard to sit there rationally and be like, "Okay, wait a minute. Let me really see what happened. Okay, I can see why I got 3rd place." You know?
Yeah, it wasn't a shot at Hadi. It was a shot at his fans.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
not sure we care about that.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's it. That was literally a whole show of just freaking breaking down. No sense getting into any other stuff right now. You know what I mean? Let's add one trend question in at the end or something. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for following the show. Like I said, let us know what you guys have. What do you think is going to happen? And also, too, are you going to the Olympia? I've kind of got an announcement. I'm going to be going. I didn't plan on it initially, and it looks like it's happening. So I'm all booked up. I'm set to go. Any of our listeners that want to meet me, I'll be at the Mutant booth, and I'm going to have all of Sunday free. I'm going to be at in Vegas still the whole weekend. So if anybody wants to do anything, if you guys are going to any gyms, you know, let me know. If you want to go to the range or something, then get a hold of me, and maybe I'll tag along with you guys. Skip, are you going out at all?
No, I just canceled the hotel a week and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
I literally, it was coming down to it, and I'm like, you know what? Andrew's not going. Scott's not going. So when you said you were going, I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I think it was honestly just within the week.
You're kidding me.
It was a week
man.
ago that I was like, man.
You were only going to go till Thursday, though, weren't you, or something?
No, I was going to be there pretty much Sunday to Sunday because my wife was going with me. Yeah. And
well, maybe you dodged a bullet anyway, man, because, like, I can only handle so long at Las Vegas.
Well, and that's why my wife was going, because I was only going to spend a couple days around the body, but I figured a day for the expo, probably the finals, and then a day with the amateur, because I have a client in the amateur female bodybuilding. And the rest was, I mean, we were going to stay at the Aria and, you know, kind of make it a, 80% non-bodybuilding, 20%
I'm just saying Vegas.
Type
I can only handle Las Vegas for, like, 5 days is my outside max.
When we were there. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
5 days. After that, man, it's like my dopamine levels are so drained. You know?
My bank account is drained.
Yeah, and
because we spend a lot of money there. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
That's me about bodybuilding shows in general. Like,
yeah,
like you know, I like seeing people, but I've gone through so many shows already this year. With the exception of you two, I've seen everybody that I know in the industry. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I go to so many of the national shows and the other pro shows that I don't want to go to the biggest one. I'd rather just sit on my couch with Rachel or whoever's coming to come over and watch and have peace and quiet. And it's also the one weekend that there's for sure no other competitions going on, so I don't have to work.
There's that. Yeah,
so it's awesome.
Yeah, you get a free weekend. Yeah, so anybody who's coming out, I would love to meet you. I'm literally, so I'm using the Patreon money to fly out. I'm doing this on my own. Mutant is helping me with my accommodations, but I decided, I was like, you know what? I just, our show's doing so good, and who knows what'll happen next year, but for now things are going good, so why don't I like take advantage of that? Because eventually there's going to be a point that nobody cares to meet me at the Olympia, so you know,
there will always be that day.
Tanya's going to be there. Tanya, stop by, say hi. I'll come over to Strom too, spend some time with you guys over there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Check out bodyberry.com. Reach out to Andrew for coaching, and teamskip.com to reach out to Skip. Hit me up, McNallyDiets@gmail.com. Once again, truenutrition.com. Use our code THINK, supplementsource.ca for Canadians. Thank you to everybody from Patreon. We will tackle all the other stuff that I mentioned at the beginning that we didn't do on the next episode. For another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Gear, we'll see you soon.